What's going on, everyone? Welcome back to the show. So today we're going to talk about inflation and how this can affect the stimulus package that has been talked about. This can have a significant impact, and we've been watching inflation for the last several months, and it continues to rise. So we're going to take a look at the numbers, and then we're going to talk about the impacts of inflation on a stimulus package, potential stimulus checks, all that. So that's what we're going to discuss today. But first off, on this channel, we talk about financial news and what's going on in Washington, D.C. If that sounds like something interesting to you, please subscribe to the channel and hit that little bell notification. That way you'll get notified anytime we put out a video. And like always, if you see my name and a picture of me in the comment section, make sure you see a check mark next to my name. That check mark signifies that it's me. If you do not see that check mark, it's not me. It's someone trying to impersonate me. Okay, so let's go right over to this article. This is CNBC. Inflation surges to 7.5% on an annual basis, even more than expected, and the highest since 1982. Okay, so that's the milestone, the highest since 1982. So that is what, 40 years. So that's I mean, we're looking at historic numbers here, and it's not in our favor. So this is something that's very, very serious. Okay, so let's look at some of the bullet points here. A consumer price index for all items rose 0.6% in January, driving up annual inflation by 7.5%. This marks the biggest gain since February 1982 and was even higher than the Wall Street estimate. Core inflation rose 6%, which was also a notch above expectations. Real earnings for workers increased just 0.1% on the month when accounting for inflation. Weekly jobless claims declined to 223,000, below the 230,000 estimate. So as we can see, this is a huge problem. The one thing I want to focus on, they talk about year for year, and so that's the 7.5%. But when we're looking at the overall growth month to month when it comes to inflation, it rose 0.1%. So it rose a little bit higher than it was last month. So we're going in the wrong direction, but we're not drastically going in the wrong direction like the 7.5% will show year for year. Because it's just like, you have to look at it like this. It'll go up and down, up and down. So at the end of the year, we could be looking at a much better outlook, and that's the hope right now. But what does this all mean when it comes to a stimulus package, even talking about a stimulus package? We know Senator Manchin has some real big issues when it comes to inflation, and he has real big issues with that because he's using that as a reason not to move forward with the stimulus package. And the reason why I think politicians aren't even talking about stimulus checks right now is because of inflation. We have to get to a point where things start leveling off. And this is the reason why they're talking about raising interest rates, because if you raise interest rates, that means that people generally will stop spending as much because you don't have access to the same amount of money that you might have if interest rates are low. Once you start raising interest rates, that means it costs more to borrow. And if it costs more to borrow, then you're less likely to borrow. And if you're less likely to borrow, you're less likely to be spending the same amount of money. A good example is buying a house or buying a car. Most people finance that. And right now it's easy to finance because you can get a much lower interest rate. But you raise that interest rate up and you're going to have some people that are going to start really thinking about, do I really need to buy a car right now? Maybe I'll wait a couple of years. Or a house, the same thing. Do I really need to buy a house right now? Maybe I'll wait a couple of years and wait for that interest rate to drop. And that's one of those situations that we're looking at right now. We have people that are spending a lot of money. And if you're spending a lot of money, that also will drive the interest rate. And then we have to look at the bottleneck. We have to look at the supply chain. That is another issue. And they're trying to work on that. They're trying to get these products to the people. But as of right now, there's still some struggles when it comes to that. We also see the Freedom Convoy, the situation that's going on, the protests in Canada. That's hurting some of the supply chain as well because they're blocking roads. And because they're blocking roads, some of these products can't get to us that are coming from Canada. So that's another situation that we're going to have to really watch closely. And all this circles back around to legislation. The fact that they're talking about Build Back Better, they want to move forward with Build Back Better. The fact that they were talking about some type of a stimulus package for businesses. All this stuff, now they're really looking at it and thinking, okay, well, what are we going to do? And I'm talking about politicians. What are we going to do? How are we going to move forward if inflation continues to rise? So the bottom line here is inflation continues to get worse. And so we're going to have to watch it for February. And then when it comes to March, they're already talking about raising interest rates, and we'll have to see how that affects our economy But this is not a good sign when it comes to wanting to move forward with the stimulus package. Now, I want to talk about one more story here, and let me go ahead and show it to you here. Truckers' protests could begin on Super Bowl Sunday in Los Angeles, officials warn. Okay, so that's the warning. Now, we know right now in Canada they have the Freedom Convoy. They're truckers that are protesting the vaccine mandates, and it looks like this could be a situation where we have something similar in the U.S. Okay, starting in Los Angeles, starting at the Super Bowl. The Super Bowl will be in Los Angeles, and this could be the start of a major protest. And what these truckers are doing, they're actually blocking roads, and so because they're blocking roads, they're putting people at risk. I mean, and you might think, well, they're not putting people at risk; they're just blocking the roads. But people need to get from point A to point B. People need to go to work, obviously. You could have emergency situations where you have an ambulance that can't get through the roads because they're blocked. And so this could be something very, very major that we see as far as protests. Now, we do have some politicians that have already been talking about this, like Senator Cruz. Senator Ted Cruz has been talking about he would hope that we have some type of protest like that in the U.S. when it comes to the vaccine mandates or comes to mandates, period. So one good thing is that you do have states and major cities that are talking about lifting the mask mandate. So that's good news. They're setting dates saying we're going to lift the mask mandate on this date. And so that can help. That can help when it comes to the potential for a protest. But this could be something with the stuff that we're seeing in Canada right now could be something that trickles down into the U.S. and we might see similar situations out here. And so this is something we're really going to have to follow closely to see where it goes. And whether you agree with the protest, you don't agree with the protest, we all have a right to protest. So as long as you're not putting people in danger, I don't see a problem in it. And so if you are in the Los Angeles area during the Super Bowl, you might want to think twice about commuting back and forth because there could be some potential. You might get stuck in a protest. And this is coming from the Department of Homeland Security. They're the ones that are putting this warning out. So that's all I have in this video, but I want to know what you guys think about this and also what you guys think about inflation. Let me know down below. If you like this video, please give me a thumbs up. Please subscribe for more, and I'll talk to you in the next one.